So 7:15, I am awake. I have the first shift with Leo, and then I give him over to his Nana so that we can actually get some work done. But my first task is to get some breakfast ready for him and that boy loves his oatmeal just like I do. Little man just playing his bouncer. He loves Tintin the cat. Every time he sees him, he lights up. Ready? Eine Spremmer. Eine. Leo. Yes, that's a camera. A very English wet and gray day yet again. I was working with a couple of restaurant clients earlier this year. I mean, in December, end of last year, and January, February this year. Then the lockdown happened. It was kind of a crazy story. I'll link to my coronavirus long tail, but really, I was one of the first people in my county to actually have it, and I was on full lockdown. I had a CDC coordinator, all of that. But anyway, during that process, it was a month after our little guy was born, and yeah, it was really rough, and I ended up losing all my clients and all my prospective clients, which I was really starting to move forward at that point. And since then, I've kind of let this industry go. In the meantime, I've just been building up and working on other projects, but I've decided to kind of go back and revisit this space. So that is really the point of this challenge. So after playtime here, I'm going to go and really put all my thoughts down on paper, and we're going to begin. We can fly, we can fly, we can fly, we can fly. Whoa!
Gerald was a tall giraffe whose neck was long and thin, but his knees were awfully crooked and his legs were rather thin. He was very good at standing still.
Little Leo and I just taking a walk in the yard, and you might be wondering where the hell I am right now. I'm in Florida. So I am in the beautiful Isle of Wight. It's just on the south of England, and I'm here because my in-laws live here, and we just wanted to get away from all the hoopla that was happening in Florida at the time. So we've been here for about 2 months. They're helping us out while we're doing our work, and the island's beautiful. Check this clip out.
Whoa. Alright, babe, we gotta clean this place up. Alright?
Are you filming this?
So just had a quick workout. So actually, my idea for this challenge started because I was doing a physical challenge with some of my guy friends. We were all staying home, getting out of shape, no one was going to the gym, and I decided, well, wait a minute, let me buy some kettlebells. I've always wanted to work out with them, and long story short, I got some kettlebells, we did this crazy challenge, and we've all gotten into like the best shape of our lives. So here's a little clip of that, but that's a whole different thing. Okay, before we dive any deeper though, I just want to talk about something. You could inject anything that you want to do into the same type of challenge and follow along. So if you don't have previous results, ask yourself this question, right? Like, what skills do you currently have that you could put on a resume that you've been paid for before, or what skills do you want to learn that you want to potentially maybe make that a career out of? What skills you want to learn? Maybe that could be programming, maybe it's video editing, maybe it's marketing. Could be anything, right? Think about those skills, and then think about who you might be able to serve with those skills. So I'm going to kind of go through my process here as you're kind of following along. Maybe you've never done digital marketing before, right? I'm not asking you to do digital marketing. Maybe you want to be a videographer. Maybe you want to program, or whatever it is, right? You can follow along still and just think about the skills that you want to do and the audience that you want to serve, and you can kind of see how I'm able to then tap into this market, and you could use that for yourself. So it doesn't have to be just with digital marketing. right? It could be anything, especially with the computer. My wife and I, we started this journey because we wanted to travel. And as I said, we've traveled all over the world. We've worked remote while doing it. So you could apply it to anything or any passion that you might have or any skill that you want to learn. So, just kind of have an open mind about it, right? This is just my example of the skills that I can provide to people and to clients and how I'm going to scale it. So I hope that helps out. Also, before we start, I hope it's okay if I just take a couple minutes to go over sort of like the 10,000, 20,000 foot view of exactly what the heck we're going to be building and what sort of system I will be creating. Acquiring clients and keeping them and reaching out to them is a 3-step cycle. So first, it really starts with, let's do marketing down here. But what exactly is marketing? Right, so really that is getting somebody aware of your service and pushing them along in order for you to become a client, right? So awareness is the first step. So there's a couple different ways that you could market, right? So there's, I call this inbound. Okay, and now this will be things like running paid ads or referrals. Right, but in order to get referrals, let's see, can you see that properly? In order to get referrals, you have to have some results first. Okay, so the start for us is going to be outbound. All right, so those are things like making cold calls, right, or cold emails, or sending messages on Facebook. So I'll just say something like FB messages. Or, if possible, meeting up in person, right? I know that that might be kind of a weird thing now during COVID, but that is the best way to do business. My friend Matt Kim told me that it's belly to belly, right? So belly to belly. That's the best way to make a connection, right? Belly to belly, right? So this marketing here, in fact, let me go ahead and this then leads to, if done properly, this leads to sales, okay? And that is where we begin to acquire our clients, right? So after, let's say you've called a couple people and they seem a little bit interested, then you would follow up with them on a sales call. Now they're aware of the issue, and the point of that second call is for you to actually sell them something, right? Likewise, if you've sent a couple of emails and somebody has responded, interested in your offer, the next call, it might take 2 or 3 calls, is going to be more of a sales call, right? So on the sales calls, it's sales and scripts, right? How to properly advance somebody to the close. I would need some systems set up, right? Like for instance, I'll be using Zoom for my video calls. I use a scheduler called Acuity. All right. So things like that. These are more tools, and also you just have to understand how to actually do that. You have to also know how to send proposals and how to properly get that out there. Also your service offering and so on and so forth. That's all in the marketing and the sales side. So there's sales. And then finally, the last thing is fulfillment. No, I don't mean like personal fulfillment. I mean like order fulfillment. Is that double L? I think so. Fulfillment. Right? So now that means, following up and actually getting your order, getting the order that they've placed now for you to do these services, making sure that gets done. So what do you need for that? You need to have, in my case, I'm going to have some software, and I might have to actually build a team depending on how big we get in order to handle my fulfillment. Right? So once the order is fulfilled, well then it comes back to marketing, because the money, this is where the money that you've made, it's all here after fulfillment. Well, really, you might get paid up front, so it might be here or there. But either way, after fulfillment, then you take the money that you've made and you throw it back into your marketing channel. So now you can actually throw it into your quote-unquote inbound channel. Inbound, okay, that really means like if you're running an ad on Facebook or YouTube or something and somebody clicks on that, now they've become aware of that. and they're coming to you because you've led them down your sales path, as opposed to you having to go out there and follow them. So that's what I mean. So you would take this money then and throw it into your inbound marketing. So really, this is the system that we will be scaling and building up, and it really takes a lot of effort to begin this process, right? You know, you can think of this as a wheel turning, or the popular thing in marketing is as a flywheel, right? You know, a flywheel in a car, it takes a lot of energy to get it moving at first, but then when it gets rolling, you have a lot more momentum. So this is the system that we are going to be building, right? So this week, though, I just wanted to begin by showing you kind of this big overview here of what it is that we're doing. But this week, we are setting up all of the groundwork for this, right? So we're starting out with our goals, and we're starting out with understanding which systems we have to build. So I hope that helps. Don't get too confused, but that is basically what I'll be building. I'll be building out a marketing system. Oh, I've got my notes there. Don't want to mess up my drawing. I'm building out my marketing system, my outbound first. All right, inbound later. I already have all of these tools in place, so it's just more about polishing them, and then it's fulfilling in the order and beginning this process. All right, so this is Trello. If you don't have it installed, just go ahead and go to your App Store, or if you're on a PC, it should be on the Play Store as well. This is the application that I have downloaded on my computer, but you can also use it on the web. So Trello is a great way to start organizing everything. And because we're doing quite a big project here, I'm going to go ahead and create a new board. Let me show you how I do that. So I'm going to click here on the top right corner and the plus sign, create board. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and call this my 0 to 10K challenge. And let's do that. Do I want a picture? Yeah, why not? Yeah, let's go with red. Okay, Pinnacle Surge Media. Yep, that's the name of my marketing company. Okay, let's go ahead and create board. All right. Okay, here we go. I'm not going to go too deep into the advanced aspects of it, but this is a really nice layout for me to be able to see everything that's going on here. So first, let's go ahead and create a project title here. All right, so this is going to be where my goals will be. Goals 60 days. Okay. All right, then I will have a section on my marketing. Sales. Fulfillment. Remember those aspects that we had talked about before. And then I want to have a section on ideas as well. Ideas slash brainstorming. All right. So these now act as columns, right? They go vertically. So let's add cards to some of these, right? Let's add a card here first. So the goal, right? 0 to 10K in 60 days. All right, guys, I am back, and I've actually gone ahead and populated my Trello board just because it took quite a while in order for me to get it all organized, and I don't want to bore you with all the details. So, okay, here's what we have here. I can quickly glance and see where I currently am. All right, so there are my goals, 0 to 10K, right? 60 days left, so I'm going to come log in every day and update this as it comes along. All right, so I've divided it like this. You can do it differently, but this kind of helps me out to be able to see what's going on here. So this week, these are the things I need to accomplish this week to get the ball rolling. And you'll notice it's a lot of setup stuff, right? So we're going to set up our goals. So if we click on here, you'll see I've created a checklist. Checklists are really cool. You just click on the side here, create checklist. Let me just show you. Checklist number 2. You add items, test 2, and then when they're done, you just check them off. And then it's done, right? So let me just delete this one. But you can really kind of see, and there's activity. Goals, I need to create a Google Sheet to reverse engineer this major goal, which I'll show you after this, and I need to track that daily, okay? Market research is another thing I really have to do. I'm going to join 10 Facebook groups. I'm already a member of a few of them, but I'm going to join some more. And then, okay, this is where, the pavement starts to hit the road. I need to go ahead and contact a couple of my warmer contacts that I've worked with before. If I was just starting out in a new niche, I would just straight up cold call and actually speak with 3 or 5 people. So not just call 5, I would actually try to get 5 or so on the phone and just tell them, kind of what I'm doing. I'm not trying to sell them anything at this point. It's just market research. You're trying to make a friend, right? So here, this is before I even have an offer. I just want to know how things are going, especially right now during this whole COVID thing. The restaurant industry is a little bit crazy. So I think this is crucial to do. I haven't been in touch with any of them for quite a long time. Oh my gosh, crazy backstory here real quick. So right when things started to hit the fan in Florida, in March, I had about 5 guys like in my pipeline and that were getting close to signing on with me, and it was all going great in the restaurant space, right? So I had met with 3 of them in one particular day, and oh my gosh, that was the day that I first started having some symptoms in early March. So sure enough, 5 days later, I came down with the fever and all that stuff. I had to call them back and kind of tell them like, listen. And they were, they thought it was all business. They're like, yeah, we're still thinking about it and all that. And I was kind of like, yeah, that's great. But I don't know how to say this, but basically, I tested positive for COVID. And it was the worst. Oh my God, it was the worst thing. And they're like, what? Are you really? Oh my God, are you okay? And all that stuff. But it was just terrible. It was the only thing you can kind of compare that to. And I haven't had this happen to me personally, but I'm sure others have. Is like, can you imagine getting like an STD or something and having to call somebody? That would be the right thing to do, wouldn't it? To call somebody and tell them like, listen, I don't know what happened. But anyway, that was brutal. So I will be reaching back out to my warmer clients, for example, those people that I was potentially going to work with, and just ask them how things are going. Just start to listen. I already have an idea of what I might offer them, but I need to just get the conversation going. I've been out of that industry for a while, and things are really different. I will be calling all the ones in Florida first that I've been working with, and it's even different state by state. Currently, I'm in the UK. It's November 1st, and they're about to lock the country down again in 3 days' time. So it's just different case by case, right? All these restaurants are shutting down. So hopefully in the U.S. that doesn't happen, but we'll see. So I need to do that to complete my market research sheet. I've already written out some things, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. But basically, it's just trying to get my mind into my ideal dream customer's head. Like, what are they thinking? What do they want right now? When you can start to do that, then you can start to not only think like them, but then you can start to begin planning on what to offer them. So this part is massive. Okay, and I've been doing it the past week or so, even before I thought about this challenge. I've been kind of deciding to go back into this industry, so I've been setting myself up a little bit. So I'm a little bit further ahead than I would be had I just started from scratch. Okay, I need to create my offer staircase, and this can be called a couple different things, the ladder, or the funnel, whatever you might want to call this. But really, it's this, right? Okay, what different things can I offer my clients at different budgets and different price points, right? So there are things that I could potentially do. For instance, okay, like the top level offer could be literally me going into their office and becoming their like marketing guy. Okay, like that would be the top level thing I could do, because I could work with them one-on-one directly. But that's obviously I can't scale what I'm trying to do, and they probably can't afford to pay me that amount, and so on and so forth. So that's not feasible. So what else then can I offer them? Like, what is a very kind of small yes that I can give them, an initial kind of thing that is really easy for them, that gives them a lot of value. It's an easy yes, getting your foot in the door with them. Like that is the thing I'm going to lead with. Right, I do have a package where it's badass. We were, for instance, making $5 for every $1 we were spending on ads for them. However, that's more expensive. That requires more time, more of a relationship to set up with them. So I don't want to offer that right off the bat. It's more just kind of showing them my unique marketing method, and then getting them to say yes to do a small thing first, and then going forward. So I need to identify what that is going to be for me now, given the current situation. All right, so here I wrote, think about the logical progression. So I need to kind of think about this and put it down on paper and have this ready, because that's what I will lead my outbound emails with, my outbound calls when we get to the marketing section. Okay, what to charge, kind of that's a part of it too. Create different package offers and so on, so that I know exactly what to charge, so that when they ask me how much does this cost, I can tell them exactly what it is. Okay, next thing is identify my low-hanging fruit. Okay, so what clients have I worked with in the past that I had worked with before, or I was close to working with? Can I get them back on board? So I understand, like, if you're just starting out, you might not have this low-hanging fruit, but you might be surprised. Okay, the thing to do here instead would be, okay, which of your contacts might be in this industry or might know somebody in this industry? All right, so the very first thing I did when I started working with the restaurants was after I got my first client, which was a long story, but after I got him, I started to look at local restaurants, right? So I asked my friends who were pretty well connected. You know those people that just kind of seem to know everybody. You kind of reach out to them. Hey, do you know anybody in the restaurant industry? Just start having conversations with people. Your immediate network is really where you're going to find a lot of people right off the bat. That's your low-hanging fruit, right? Like that's what I'm going to go after now as well. I'm going to go back and see, those guys that I called, told them I had COVID. I'm going to call them again now and see what's going on. It's been 7 months now, right? Like everybody's good. I came out good. Hopefully they're doing okay. And I'm going to have a conversation. So I'm going to create a spreadsheet to identify all of those people, my warm lead list. Okay. Next thing is my online avatar. So this is where if you have a website set up, you want that to reflect what it is you're currently doing and your Facebook profile and your Facebook business page and your LinkedIn. If you don't have any of those set up, that's fine. But because I will be using Facebook marketing tactics like reaching out on Messenger and so on and so forth, I need that to look good and professional so that it reflects well on me. This is my online avatar, right? Me and my company and the service that I will be providing. So I got to make sure that's all good, and that's really where all these things are. This is a course I want to take that's going to help me out with that. That's just an aside right there for me. And set up my warm outbound strategy. Okay, so identify the clients that I need to reach out to, and really, because they're warmer, I just need to call them. Okay, I just got to call them. So I wrote here, try 3 times. If no answer, then I can go to email the next level down. Okay, and funnel setup. So this is really out of the scope of today's thing, but I'm creating an inbound channel for my services as well, and I've been doing that the past couple of weeks, but that's going to come down the line. So this is now my board, and today really I need to complete this and get my market research down. I don't think I'll get to that. So this is what I'm going to focus on today, just knocking these things out, making sure they're checked off, and then I will move them to done. All right, hope that makes sense. So I took a few minutes to create this revenue estimator, and I called this in the notes something to reverse engineer the amount of clients we're going to have to reach out to, right? So for instance, if I created these 3 different offer packages, and I haven't actually finalized them, but these are just rough ideas of what they might be. So let's say that foot in the door, that easy yes is $47. The mid-range one is $297, and the full-scale one is $597. This will now allow me to determine how many clients I'll have to reach out to in order to hit these numbers. So for instance, let's say that the first month, November, we can get, 5 of these, 5 of the potential clients to say yes, and maybe 1 mid-range one and 1 full-scale one. Now that's $1,100 for that first month. These are monthly retainers, by the way. So that's how I positioned my offer packaging and the service I provide. So now let's say the next month, of course, these carry over. Maybe some of these will move up, but let's say this next month we can get, 15 of these foot in the door ones, and we can now have 5 mid-range ones and let's say 3 of these ones here. So now we're looking at, these numbers now. So of course, I'm just BSing and just trying to figure it out. But if I know, for instance, that I need to send out 100 emails, and that gives me 10 responses from people, and I can get 3 or 4 of them on the phone, and I can close one for $597. Now I know, okay, I've got to make sure I send out 100 emails. You start to kind of reverse engineer your outreach. That's the idea here. Also, this is the same applied to cold calls or any of the other marketing services that we're going to be doing to attract clients to us. So that's kind of the point of this. Also, it's just kind of fun to play around with. So busy days so far. We've set up our Trello board to keep us organized. And we've also set up our Google Sheet that is going to help us figure out exactly what we have to do to acquire a client. And that's going to help us reverse engineer our outreach. The next thing is doing some research on our niche, right? So in this case, I've chosen restaurants, so I'm going to go ahead on Facebook and search for restaurant owner groups. All right, it's quite simple. You just go to the search tab, and in this case, I'm going to type in restaurant owners, and I'll go to the group tab because I want to find the groups. That's where they're congregating. That's where I want to hear what their problems are and how I could potentially help them. I want to join those groups and start providing some value. And you can go ahead and substitute whatever it is that you are doing or whatever market you're serving into that. You go to groups and you just look for whatever it is that you are doing. And also, I am reaching out to some of my warm contacts to see how they're doing, because I want to get, not only do I want to get back in touch with them, but I want to hear from their perspectives, like what has happened to them during this whole crazy year and so on and so forth. It's really going to help me to get a nice big picture of what's going on in the market. And after we do that, we are done for the day. So real quick, I just want to show you how to find groups, relevant groups on Facebook. Here I am in Facebook, so let's type in restaurant owners. And there's a search tab, and there are the filters. This is what I was talking about earlier. Okay, we just want to go to groups. All right, so there's that one there. You should go ahead and join, I'd say about 5 to 10 based on whatever it is that you're looking for, right? Or whatever it is that you are trying to do. In my case, I'm trying to serve the restaurant industry. This way, you'll be able to kind of get some insight as to what's happening with them. And it's just great research. And it could be a good way for you to pick up clients. So that we'll be using it for all of those purposes. So that's really going to help. I've already gone ahead and done my 10. And the next thing that I want to show you is, if I could bring it up, this is a research worksheet. This actually came from the ClickFunnels crowd. If you don't know what ClickFunnels is right now, don't worry about it too much. But anyway, this is a great template that I've used, and it really just kind of goes over, the research that I've done at this point about them. Like what are their fears? You get into their fears. You get into their mindsets, what are their desires, right? And of course, like what are their problems, questions, roadblocks? This is all going to help doing this preliminary market research before you actually jump into getting on calls with them and pitching them. You want to understand their problems a little bit deeper than most people do. What have you found that they're currently doing, and so on and so forth. So this is a great sheet here that I use to do that. So that's what I mean by doing some market research. You're welcome to kind of type your own stuff up, but it's good to have a good start. Those are sort of the preliminary steps, the things we've done today in order to kind of help us get organized and set up and start thinking about what our clients actually need. All right, so that's it for today. I hope it was really helpful. I know today is a long one where we're just getting kicked off. I don't want to waste any time. This is quite a challenge for me to onboard this many clients in the 2 months like we've said. So I'm going to keep pushing every day, and I hope that you guys are getting some value out of this. And go ahead and hit that subscribe button and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Thank you.